What's up, everybody? Back again. This time we're going to be discussing the Nikko Sterling Targetmaster for the 16x44 scope. That is the scope that came stock from when I bought it used at the gun shop on my rifle. One of the big things was, like I said in the other videos, I want to do this with what I have. I don't want to rush out and buy a new scope just because I don't know anything about this. So what I've been trying to do is learn about this scope. So far, from a couple times I've shot the rifle, the scope's been pretty reliable, been pretty good. Once it got zeroed in, it stayed zeroed for the most, from when I shot it. So what we'll do is we'll cover some of the adjustments on this scope, because when I first got it, just like many of you, I went out there and tried to find information about this scope on how to make adjustments, how to get it zeroed in, and there's not a lot of information out there. No videos out there on how to do it. So I kind of had to just teach myself using the manual, which is very basic, but I've been able to do it. So if I can do it, any of you can. So let's grab the rifle here. So like I said, the Nikko Sterling Targetmaster for the 16x44. It has windage adjustments, it has elevation adjustments, and on here on the other side it has parallax. So real quick, what parallax is it will focus on your target, whatever distance you are, to be able to focus on the target and kind of blur everything else around it. From what I've learned and what I've understood from this, from what parallax is. So the adjustments on this scope with each click is a quarter-minute adjustment, is at 100 yards. But if you're dealing with minutes, and if you learned about minutes before, it doesn't matter if it's 100 yards, 200 yards, 1,000 yards. One click is a quarter-minute adjustment. So 4 clicks would be 1 minute. On this scope with your numbers, there's 4 clicks between each number. So each number equals 1 minute. So making those adjustments kind of get pretty easy as long as you know what your minutes are, up, down, left, right, doesn't matter. So zeroing this scope in on this scope, there are 2 different locking rings. You have a lower locking ring and upper locking ring. That lower locking ring is what you're going to loosen with a quarter turn counterclockwise to make your adjustments for zero. It makes it spin a little bit easier, make those major adjustments. So now that you've made your adjustments and you're actually zeroed in, you need to make sure you spin that lock ring back a quarter turn, back clockwise, my apologies, and to lock it in. After that, you're going to spin that upper locking ring. It can be a little difficult to spin. It likes to spin the turret, so you kind of need to hold the turret and spin the lock ring with that quarter turn counterclockwise to loosen up that upper locking ring. Now, what that upper locking ring does is once you loosen that, you can spin the dial freely without actually spinning the turret. So you can do that to get your numbers back to zero. So when you're zeroed in at your 100 yards, or zeroed in at your 200 yards, or whatever you want to be zeroed at, is when your scope is on zero, you know you're at your zero. That way you can make your adjustments a lot easier. So hypothetically speaking, say you're making a 6-minute adjustment, you just have to spin your turret to 6, whether it be up or down or left or right. If you're making a 5.75 minute adjustment, 5 3/4 minute adjustment, you got to go 6 minus 1. So it makes those adjustments a lot easier on the fly. One other thing about this scope is the reticle is a mil dot reticle. So you got to be able to do your math and convert from minutes, MOA, to mils. Now, there is some math involved in this. I can go in there and do it freehand, but like most of you, I'm going to use a calculator. It's a lot more accurate and a lot easier. Every single one of us typically has our phone on us at all times, so just break out that calculator. And all you're going to do is, if you have to adjust 1 minute, you'll divide your 1 minute by 3.5, and that'll give you your mils. So, just to give you a quick example, it's a major example, is if you have, let's say, a 15-minute adjustment. You're going to take that 15 divided by 3.5. That 15 divided by 3.5 is going to be 4.44 mils. So obviously, in the scope, you have half mils and full mils. So what I did here was I drew a little diagram for you, just to kind of give you a visual representation of it. So here's your scope. Here's your reticle. Is each line is half a mil. Is each dot will be a full mil. So right from center, you have a half a mil, a full mil, another half, a full. So you got half, 1, 1.5, 2, and so on and so forth, both vertically and horizontally. So you can make those adjustments. So just like I said, 15 minutes is 4.4 mils, 4.44 mils, correction. Is, well, you can't do a 4.44 mil hold off. So you have to do a little bit of Kentucky windage. 4.44 is a lot closer to 4.5 mils than 4 mils. So you would make your hold off at 4.5 mils. So it's really easy once you get the concept down. Is once you realize that you have to make that correction from minutes to mils, it makes it a whole lot easier to do your hold offs. So the scope is a pretty reliable scope from what I've dealt with so far. I haven't put a whole lot through the rifle, maybe 100 rounds. So I don't know how much the previous owner shot it. Is from when I bought it, looked pretty clean. I don't know if he cleaned it before he sold it. I don't know if the shop cleaned it, but the scope's been reliable for the time that I have shot it. There's a lot more shooting to be done, so we'll see how it lasts. But there's no need to rush out if you get a rifle with a Nikko Sterling scope to rush out and buy a Leupold or a Nikon or a Vortex. Give it a shot. Try it out. It's been good for me. Maybe good for you. May not be good for you. Maybe you have a specific scope you like, and that's okay. I'm new to this. I haven't found the scope I'm in love with. So I try a lot of different things. This one has a Nikko Sterling. My AR has a Vortex. I'll probably put a rifle together, build a rifle that has a Leupold or a Nikon. My brother is a Nikon guy, loves his Nikon BDC. So just make sure you're doing the research and finding what works for you. That's the key thing, is finding what works best for you. Appreciate everything. If you have any advice, leave it in the comments. Words of encouragement, leave it in the comments. Is anything you want to see, ask. I'll gladly cover whatever I can to the best of my ability. I have a lot of resources out there. I have a lot of people that I can talk to and get any information that you want, and I will cover it if I can. I appreciate all of you with all the support, and I love all of you. Peace out. Have a great one.